So the government, in pursuit of its public image ideas of pretending to the people that it's doing stuff at the people's consent, like imprisoning people for saying hurty words to police dogs and that sort of thing. But of course, they're trying to give us the idea, look, that everybody loves Keir Starmer. Here's another one. Oh, yes, look at how they're all clapping him. Look at that self-satisfied smile. Everybody really does love Keir Starmer. In his pursuit of public approval, he has asked, or rather our health service has asked, what can we do to improve things? Yeah, and of course, asking the public a question like that, as has been seen by many other public consultations of a similar type, they got some ribald and to the point answers. One of them was a weight limit on nurses. Another one was replacing ambulance sirens with healthy eating advice. You know what? They'd probably take that one up. And a third one was offer lobotomies to the population of Birmingham. Sorry, Birmingham. I'm Granniopteryx. I'm on YouTube, Rumble, BitChute and Minds. Right, one of the other suggestions, which is a bloody good one, is stop spending £40 million on diversity initiatives. That would probably help. But instead of that, the government have decided to do something else. They've decided to protect the NHS. Do you remember the Kung flu? How can we possibly not remember that? Do you remember how the big slogan was? I'm talking Britain here, and I know I have people who are watching this in far-flung colonies like California. But there was a thing, one of the big slogans, well, there was several. Stay safe was one. Stay safe, stay home, or something like that. It reminded me during the Second World War, they kept saying, is your journey strictly necessary? That was to stop people from unnecessarily using petrol. Or gas, as you might call it, as I said, in those far-flung colonies. So there was another one, protect the NHS. Yeah, stay home, protect the NHS. And it gave, now this, I can't blame the Labour Party for this. This was a nudge unit idea, but it gave a sort of, it's an attitude of the wrong way round. I mean, the NHS is here to protect us, surely. We are not supposed to be protecting the NHS, but it's an attitude that has developed. You see, originally, all these public services, like the train service and the National Health Service and all the rest of it, they were set up to protect us, to serve us. And then bit by bit, the balance sort of flipped. And now we're there to make things more convenient for those public services. So it was not NHS protect us. It was we have to protect the NHS. And the way we do it, of course, is by not getting sick. So, this is all part of I'm quite sure when they pass this assisted dying bill, for instance, they're going to do it on the grounds that it protects the NHS. They won't say it quite like that, but that's what it'll be. I mean, if you're sick and old or have a terminal illness that's going to cost a lot of money to ameliorate in some way, then you're going to protect the NHS by offing yourself. That's what's going to happen. That is how it is going to end up being sold. Of course, as I said, at first, it won't be put quite like that, but bit by bit, it'll tip. and the message will become more and more clear. So Starmer's solution to help the NHS is to interfere with our lives more. For instance, we know they want to talk about, well, they are making it illegal to smoke in pub gardens. Now, I was very relieved when they stopped people smoking in pubs themselves, because it did spoil things for non-smokers. There was really nowhere for the smoke to go. But pub gardens, really, that's complete nonsense. But again, it's part of the idea, as I've said in a previous video, not to stop people smoking in pub gardens, but to stop people from going to pubs in the first place. Let's face it, the fewer people who are getting together to discuss local events and politics in pubs, the less trouble the government is going to have from the people. So that's another example of us serving the institution instead of the other way round. And now there's another one. They're going to make it illegal to sell energy drinks to under 16s. Here, a ban on energy drinks for children under 16 is expected to be introduced to Parliament next month. And another one, supervised toothbrushing rolled out for preschool children later this year. So in the old days, they'd have kids standing. You see photographs of them standing with their arms out doing their early morning exercises. No. Now it's going to be standing there, right? Up, down, up, down, up, down. Yeah, oh, sorry. Well, you get the idea. Okay. And, parents, of course, are incapable of teaching children that. Meanwhile, schools could be teaching children money management, for instance, which schools don't do now. Or maybe lessons in civic responsibility. No, supervised toothbrushing, which parents are obviously incapable of imparting to their children. So anyway, this all reminds me of a drive a little while ago. It was the Natural Environment Research Council. They wanted a new name for their polar research vessel. And the lead name suggested was Boaty McBoatface. What were the other names? That Boaty McBoatface came top. The other suggestions were, it's bloody cold here, and Captain Birdseye, get off my cod. For those of you who aren't in Britain, I don't suppose you know about Captain Birdseye, but Birdseye, the frozen food company, they had this sort of salty captain, with a sou'wester hat and a beard, and I think he had a pipe in him. Oh, how politically incorrect can you get? And he was Captain Birdseye, who was trying to convince you should eat fish fingers. And they might have learnt that Mountain Dew came up with the idea of asking people what they should call their new apple-flavoured new recipe or something. And top of the polls came, Hitler did nothing wrong. All right, well, anyway, yeah, that's it. The NHS, filled with all these ladies who love Keir Starmer, is asking people what they can do to make themselves better. And I have a couple of suggestions. If there weren't so many people who didn't put money into the NHS, but took a lot out in the way of healthcare, for instance, illegal immigrants, just for one example, if there were fewer of those, then maybe the NHS, which has more people working for it now than ever in its earlier history when it was a lot better run, that might help if there's not so much stress and strain on the resources that we have. Of course, we can't talk about that, can we? As more boats flush in to our shores. All right, till next time. You can help my channel by subscribing and clicking the notification bell. That's quite important. And by sharing if you're so inclined. Links to my other channels and to donation methods are in the description. But the best way you can help is simply by clicking like and notify. Thank you.